We're just gonna get started bright and early. Good morning, everybody. I am so happy you're here. Welcome to the Sedro Woolley Rotary Club, the greatest club in the... David, do we have an invocation?
We do. Please join me in a moment of reflection and thanks with these words. With our friends beside us and no person beneath us, with the bonds of Rotary between us and our worries behind us, with our goals before us and no task beyond us, with a thirst for knowledge and a dream of a polio-free world, we are thankful for our Rotary friends that gathered here this morning for this very rare morning breakfast meeting. Guide us as we start our day and make it the best day ever.
Thank you. Pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And the four-way test. Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? And David, back to you for our song.
Let's sing My Country 'Tis of Thee this bright morning. My country 'tis of thee, sweet land of liberty, of thee I sing. Land where thy fathers died, land of the pilgrim's pride, from every mountainside, let freedom ring.
That was very good for 7 o'clock in the morning. Nicely done.
Well done. Well done, everyone.
Do we have any visiting Rotarians this morning? How about guests of Rotarians besides our speaker?
This is Mike. He is moved here a couple years ago from Arizona, and he was a Rotarian down there.
Welcome.
Oh, and then our speaker is a Rotarian as well.
I have two guests this morning. I have my mom, Carrie, and Cooper. Say hi.
Hi, Cooper. Hi, Carrie.
Okay, let's see. There is a work party on June 8th at Tiki and Ann Martin's house at 8 a.m. I think you can get a hold of John if you want any more details, but he said that it's going to be some yard work. We are doing Teak and Ann's honeydew list, so be there at 8 a.m. And then Christina is still looking for one more barbecue volunteer for the 14th for their summer kickoff. It's going to be, where'd she go? Like an hour, right? Yeah. So an hour out of your afternoon to barbecue some hot dogs for some middle schoolers kicking off their summer. And then installation is June 28th here. Social begins at 5:30 and there's a sign up sheet going around. If you plan on coming, you can also go to Club Runner. It's very easy. And then last but not least, the foot race is coming. I think the meeting on the 20th is dedicated to the foot race assignments. So be here to tell Brock where you want to go, or he's going to tell you where to go. Do we have any other announcements? Deke?
Take apart one of the old satellite dishes, the monster dishes, and hopefully get that off to recycling. And we're going to smooth out some logged off area where we took off extra trees and clean up there. Then I've got a big pile of firewood too. So bring your chainsaw and take some firewood home.
You can bring your toys and cut stuff. That sounds fun. Okay, any other announcements? Beautiful. Mary, do we have a raffle?
No.
All right.
Just kidding, we do. All right. Let's do 3. We're going to pull 3. All right, first number is 14. 14, Eric, all right. Woohoo. It's 7:15
Not yet. It's
in
not
the
even
morning.
noon yet.
$15 cash. Good deal. Okay, fantastic. Next number is 39. 39. All right, 39. Spin the wheel, Paul. All right. Wine. Wine. Is there wine back there?
Yes, there's wine.
Is there wine back there?
We have
Okay.
wine.
Okay. 23. 23. Number 23. All right, the brothers. All right. Sorry.
Oh, man.
There you go.
Thank you. Okay, Doug is our Sergeant at Arms today, so the floor is yours, Doug.
Well, they say when you're giving a speech, never get up and apologize for how bad it's going to be, but I'm going to break that rule and find myself $10 because this is going to be lousy, but it'll be quick. So we can get it over with. Why doesn't everybody just put in $1 to get it started? This is going to be lightly based on movies. What is, oh, how about somebody pick up money? Okay. What is the highest grossing movie of all time, you guys? Well, it's Star Wars, your final answer? It's Avatar. $2.9 billion in 2009. This table. Everybody get out $2 more and we're about done. This has been interesting to pass. Everybody go around the table, tell us your favorite movie that you've seen and you liked the best. Bill, what's your Boys in the Boat? Teak. Copycat. Can't do it. Think, I'll come back to you. Think of another one. Chuck.
In Harm's Way with John Wayne.
All right. Louis.
Thunder Road.
Thunder Road. Anybody else? You gotta have to move movie.
Let's go with
Tombstones. Yeah, if I can recite most of it. Sound of movie, it's music. Good job. Okay, how much money did Top Gun Maverick gross? Within $1 million. No, 1.4 billion. So it's a couple bucks. Okay, what's your favorite movies? That's good. That's always good.
Snatch with Brad Pitt.
Snatch with Brad Pitt.
$2
Yeah.
The original Red Dawn.
Red Dawn.
I don't have one.
You don't have one. I don't have one. So just do movies and throw a couple bucks in.
My favorite movie? Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Ferris Bueller's Day Off. My favorite movie is the Greatest Showman. What's Cooper? What's your favorite movie?
Cuphead.
Top Gun. David, you.
What's up, Doc?
What's up, Doc? Happy Bucks. Who has a happy buck?
I'll give a happy 10 because I thought I was a morning person. I thought I'd like breakfast meetings. I don't. And I'm so happy we don't meet at this time every week.
I forgot my first one. Whose idea was this? Whose idea was the morning meeting? Who, your idea?
No. So here's the thing. We heard from all these people that, oh, you know, if we met in the morning, if we meet in the morning, we'll be here. I even emailed these people, not a single, well, Maggie, you're special. Chris. Oh, Dan showed up, Frank. But I mean, most of the people on that little list who told me in special phone calls that they'd be here, they're not here. They're liars.
I've got a happy couple bucks. I received the award last Friday, the Washington Association of School Administrators at the Country Club. Ruth was there, Miriam. It was really a special honor. I'm honored and touched and really happy that I got that award.
Thank you. Good job.
I'm going to put in a 10. Had a good time last night going to watch a bunch of little guys and gals play t-ball. Cooper was one of them. My grandson was one of them. It's like watching chickens chase something out in the field. The ball gets hit. All of them run to it except for the ones that are sitting down. One little girl had a stuffed animal stuck in her waistband. And they had a good time, I think. My grandson he's going to be an outstanding baseball player because he constantly adjusts himself. He's going to have one to keep his hands out of there.
I got a happy 10. My youngest Emerson, who's in her third year of college, she's been deciding on where she's going to do her last 2 years and waiting for acceptances. So we've done the tours of, she got accepted to Oregon State, Wazoo, Western, Michigan State, Wisconsin, and Alabama. So we have a trip scheduled for Alabama next week to view it. But in the meantime, she just got accepted to UW, which is where she really wanted to go. So she's going to be going there, and we're going to take a father-daughter trip next week to Alabama for fun.
Cool. What'd you think of your movie?
I already gave it. I have to give a 10 for a couple of weddings. My youngest daughter lost her husband to a heart attack about 5 years ago, and she found a new soul mate and was married this last week in Utah while we were there, and also a grandson the same week.
Happy 20, just glad to be here. 2 more board meetings, I retire again.
I have to Venmo 20. Couple things, happy that my friend Chris is here to talk about veteran services, and it's classified, but Gary Payton will be our speaker this year at Leaders, so I'm super excited that he's gonna come help raise money for the food bank.
Wow.
And I am gonna ask Rotarians to help.
Great. The glove. I have a happy 50 bucks. Last Tuesday, my little dog got hit by a car over in Winthrop. I took it to the vet. They got her stabilized, called Doc Campbell over here. He was very clear in telling the vet what to do and sent me home with an IV bag. And I got up at 3 a.m, brought him over to Larry, gave him a bunch of medication, and probably the best, most thoughtful vet that you could have. He called me several times to check up on her, and she's doing perfect-ish. So thankful for Larry.
I'll Venmo a happy 10, but First of all, I'm very happy to be here. The morning meeting did work out for me, even though I was a little bit late. And I'm really excited. I'm doing a girls' trip with my mother and sister and aunt and cousin. And my sister is bringing her little boy, and I get to love on my nephew so much. So I'm very excited.
I have a happy two. Today's Cooper's last day of preschool, so he gets to move on to Foundations K next year. Yay. Okay, so everybody's happy, everybody's here. Ruth is bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, and I am going to invite Becky to come up to the mic and introduce our speaker.
Good morning. Today, sorry, Chris, this is the one time we do a morning one, but he's used to morning meetings because he goes to the Burlington one. So this is my friend, Chris. He is our veteran specialist for the county. We work together on a couple different projects with the Veteran Stand Down, I'm on the Veterans Advisory Board to help the county spend the funds that come in for veterans. And we're starting a new project with the county on a veterans project. And so I wanted him to come and talk to everybody about what the county does for our veterans.
This is so last year. I did actually. I was just updating it last night, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna be smart and put the 29th. I didn't even look at the year. Today's the 30th, right? Oh man. All right. Which one's the? Yeah. All right. So my name's Chris Diaz. I served in the Navy for 10 years. I hung out with the Air Force my first 4 years as a jet engine mechanic over in Saudi Arabia and Turkey in the 90s. And then I spent 3 years hanging out with the Marine Corps as a jet engine mechanic, believe it or not. And then 3 years actual Navy on a Abraham Lincoln and 2 deployments on that. Then another 9 years as a contractor at Whidbey Island, fixing EA-6Bs, Super Hornets, stuff like that. Learn how to work on plastic airplanes. And then, one thing led to another, went back to college, started working at Skagit Valley College as a VA education service officer. This job came up for the county and I applied for it, and suckers, Anyways, I've been here since 1997, Skagit County, spent 3 years down in Miramar with the Marines, and then came back up here. My kids are all up here. And I got to say, when I heard the baseball stuff, the T-ball, I coached my 25-year-old, my 18-year-old, and my daughter, who's 15, in sports, and still coaching women's football today. But I'll tell you what, kids that age, I wouldn't even stress out. I'm like, well, my kids, I was like, all right, well, they're gonna just run around and do whatever they want anyways. So, anyways, those are cool experiences. So here's kind of the agenda here. What my job offers for veterans and their families. I help a lot of families. I was just talking about a family member today who lost his father Saturday, a Vietnam veteran, and trying to help figure out how to get stuff from his dad's apartment to him so we can make sure that nothing gets lost and handed down. Skagit County Veterans Affairs data, we're going to be talking a little bit about that. Service organizations that are around Skagit County, some of these you might know, maybe know. Local economy, how does my job help the economy? You'll be surprised. What is the Skagit County Veterans Advisory Fund and how is it used? I don't know if you guys know about that tax part. My offices in Skagit County, we'll be talking about that, our next stand down in October, and some stuff that's coming up soon. So that's me. I started in May of 22, got my accreditation through Washington Department of Veteran Affairs in June. Claims that are submitted, thousands. I have over 515 counts that I've started, but maybe a third of them have been adjudicated. So, and I'm a one-man show, and I have a vet corps navigator that's helping me out a little bit. But as of January, when the numbers came in, I was able to help with $1.3 million back into veterans' pockets and their families' pockets. I think I've hit 1.5 or a little bit more now. And those are just lump sums. Those aren't even the residual payments they get once a month. I see some of our vets out there. If you guys are getting service-connected disability, those are the residuals that I'm talking about. Because after that lump sum waiting, they'll just get like 20 grand, 40 grand, whatever it is, helping them out. It's a life changer, big time. And it goes back into our economy. And then that makes the commissioners happy. They're glad to see that extra money coming back. Federal money. So we're already paying it in taxes. Now it's coming back to us. All right, so a lot of times these are some of the things that I work on in our county: disability compensation, survivors benefits, aid and attendance, and burial reimbursements. There's a lot of details in that. For the survivors benefits, if you're a veteran and you're married or you have dependents, you need to come and see me, okay? Because I want to get you guys set up so that your spouse does not have to worry about being in grief and figuring out a 22-page application for survivors benefits. It's pretty tough. Other services that are not calculated into our average, the education benefits I help with, getting people on VA healthcare, veterans records requests, and debt relief. I think I've helped get people out about $270,000 in debt relief from the VA. So that's quite a bit of money. That's a game changer. So these numbers are, you can see, from 2021. I looked at the Veterans Affairs data analysis and statistics yesterday, and they're predicting by September we'll have about 9,600 veterans in Skagit County. So how many people in here are family members of veterans? All right, how many are veterans? Well, the whole table, right? Yeah, but my point is we have less veterans and more families in Skagit County. Our offsprings, our families, our step families, whatever. A lot of these folks are coming to see me now to see if they're eligible for benefits to help burial, with burial reimbursement especially. So, and burial costs, my gosh, 10, 12 grand, 6 grand, 8 grand. It's just ridiculous. So these are some of the organizations that are here in Skagit County. Every one of them I work with pretty close. Some of them are like the McCool. They're out in Anacortes. Post 13 for American Legion. They're out in Anacortes. 43 is right here in town. I'm the commander of American Legion Post 91 in Burlington. This will be my 3rd year coming up. Nobody else wants to do it. But we offer, for example, put my other hat on here. As an American Legion commander, we do things differently at my post. Somebody comes and knocks on our door and they need food or help with something. I ask our members to help them no matter what. Doesn't matter if they're a veteran or not. Don't need to ask questions about their eligibility. We're going to try to help them out, either connect them with a resource or just send them to me, and I'll connect them to a resource in Skagit County or state's resource. All right, does my job help the local economy? Like I said, yes. I mean, the money that's coming back into our cities and our county from the federal government goes back into paying rent, groceries, and we know how much groceries and rent is nowadays, mortgages, all kinds of different things. It's not just a veteran, it's not just for veterans. Like I keep saying, families as well. Families are super important. They're the ones that were supporting us when we were on deployment. They were supporting back home. They're pulling the big trailer to make sure when we got back home, our families were squared away. We came back with certain things going on in our life, and just want to make sure that they're taken care of just as much as our veterans. So the education part, right? So if anybody's knows somebody that's in the service that wants education benefits or needs to talk about education benefits, they can come and talk to me, and I can get them over to the colleges, get them connected with the what am I calling them? School certifying officials, and get them in school. Schedule. So like Becky said, the board that she's on, I'm there just as a liaison between the county and the board. And these are some of the funds. So every $1,000 assessed value of your home, less than a penny, eighth of a penny, 1/1/8 of a penny goes to this fund, which supports different projects. And if it becomes excessive funds, we do things like transportation assistance. And transportation assistance in our county, frankly, sucks right now for our vets. Okay, we have a lot of veterans going to all these medical appointments, and they're like, "Hey, Chris, how do I get there? How do I get there? How do I get there?" I asked Skagit Transit to donate a van of some sort, and the new CEO, Crystal, she said yes. Now we're just getting through the bureaucracy part of it. It's almost here. We're gonna be wrapping it. I got $5,000 raised from the DAR. We're gonna wrap it with all the different entities that help get this van here. And hopefully you'll be seeing a 7-passenger van going 20 and 5, getting our vets to their appointments, no cost to them. And then Helping Hands is the partner that we chose to help do that because, well, one, it's a veteran-owned business, So anyways, but we sent out a ton of money this year to a lot of veterans with rental assistance, cars, mortgage, rent, utilities. Those are huge right now. A lot of people are having problems paying their utilities. So we had a stand down in April. I don't know if you guys heard about it. We put together a Skagit County Fairgrounds stand down. We ended up renting 3 buildings this time. We had 2 buildings the last 2 stand downs. We had 363 people signed in over 2 days. And we invited Island, Whatcom, Snohomish, San Juan counties to come and visit. Approximately, I think we helped around 160 vets and their families were served, which is good, is a good thing. And we're talking about some of our vets that were volunteers were getting help. We're talking about some of our vets coming out of the county were getting help. We had almost 50 table partners. About 100% of them are planning to return again. I went to Whatcom County stand down, their first one, and I was able to recruit about 4 or 5 more that want to come to our stand down. So I think we'll be renting A, B, C, and D now. So that's a good thing for our area. And brings people in, they buy stuff, driving around, get gas, all that stuff, good for the economy. There's the 7-passenger van I was talking about for medical appointments. We're working on setting up a veterans court so if somebody gets a misdemeanor, one of the judges at community court will help pull them out, and we'll start working on them and talking to them about veterans services, veterans justice services, stuff like that. So there's not a huge impact on their family. So if you make a mistake, we want to make sure that your family's taken care of. If you have to go to if you get charged for the felony, veterans court's not for you, but I would help them out with apportionment, for the families. That way the family outside of jail is not going to get impacted too hard financially. And then our next stand down, 100% of you guys are invited. Skagit County, we're gonna do it again at the fairgrounds on the 18th and 19th. We've been doing it twice a year. It's been successful every single time. We've been booked all the way, filled up all the way, filled all the buildings, American Legion building if we needed it. And it's been a good time. Lots of free camaraderie, lots of good friends. And I'll tell you what, when I took over as commander, and a few other things I noticed about Skagit County was a lot of our organizations were siloed. Okay, this stand down right here has brought all those organizations together, twice a year at least, working together, knowing who's who, being able to network and share different services to help themselves and their members and their auxiliaries and all the families that are related to them. So these are some of my offices right here. I have quite a few of them. I get to do different times, adjustments. Notice I have Helping Hands there. They had me a place set up for me for a while. Just haven't put it on my calendar to be there periodically yet. But I've been pretty busy. Like I said, over 515 accounts is the last time I looked. So it's a lot of work doing research and filling out paperwork and making sure people are getting the things that I need for them. That's it. Any questions or? So a veteran stand down in Seattle might mean, so let's say we have 20 homeless veterans here in Skagit County, but Seattle has 500. So usually it's to help homeless get off the streets, low income, help them with a bunch of services. Here in Skagit County, what I've done is I made it where it's hitting every economic level. So that way there's something for everybody there and not just a specific group of veterans. So that way everybody gets some help that they need. So does that answer your question? And a veteran stand down was started by 2 Vietnam veterans in San Diego years ago, and now it's just grown. So.
Will you talk about the veteran that we mutually supported from Anacortes that was homeless for over 10 years?
Yeah, so Helping Hands helped this veteran with getting their DD 214 and refer him over to me to figure out if he was eligible for any services. The biggest part of helping this veteran was how much support from and how many different agencies helped this veteran get from the streets of 10 years, I believe it was, to housing. It took a little bit of time, but it happened. And that was because we were supporting him all the way through with food, financials, following through all kinds of different things. But if we don't have successful groups like Helping Hands and the other organizations around here, our vets are not going to find success. Since then, we've probably put in 25 to 30 veterans in housing. We just had a recent veteran living in a truck for 10 or 15 years, living now in a studio apartment, doing good. So yeah, things have changed for a little bit. That answer, Becky?
Oh, yeah.
Chris, about a month ago, I received a phone call from a lady in Pennsylvania. Her name was Jessica, and she said, I'm with the VA. And at first I thought it was a scam. And she says, my name and all of my numbers and stuff like that. And she said, you didn't respond to our request for, she said, dependent benefits. I don't recall that we got any mailings like that. I told her that. And she said, well, I'm looking at all your history here. And she said, I'm going to send you all the paperwork that you need. And then when you get it, go and see a service officer in your locale. Mm-hmm. And I had no idea that was even a benefit of any nature. But seeing what you had on the screen, I guess I'll make an appointment with you.
Yeah. So let's just say if you have a VA service connected disability of 30% or more, you're going to want to add your dependent on there for sure, because that's a little bit extra money added on top if you're 30% service connected or more. So, and then on top of that, making sure survivors benefits or how to do that and all that stuff.
So speaking of that, so I don't talk about it a lot, but my dad was 100% disabled through his service. And as a dependent, I got to go to college and they paid a substantial sum of that. Yeah. And without that amount, there's no way I would have been able to pay for college. And it means a lot. The Veterans Affairs Office at the university, they were amazing and they walked me through all the steps and they were able to help me as a student. And I wish that more people knew about the services if they're veterans or veterans dependents, because the service that they provide is incredible to our veterans and it's so needed. And I appreciate you coming in and sharing the information today. And I really hope that it spurs some people like Louis to research and find out how they can benefit from their time in the service.
Yeah. So the program you're talking about is called Chapter 35, Dependent Eligibility Program for Education Benefits. So if I was 100% service connected, permanent total, I would be able to, that would trigger any of my dependents or a spouse to do educational benefits. My first person, I got 100% permanent total, and he was struggling. It took 10 months to get it done, but we got it done. And his 2 daughters and his wife all went back to college at the same time as he did. So 4 people went to college based on his 100% Pacific permanent total disability. That's a ton of money back into our economy as well. Back into the college, back into the living spaces and all that stuff.
I've got one for you. My mom lived at Country Meadow Village where I work, and my dad was a veteran. 35 years after his death, she received benefits under the aid and attendance benefit. And it was really, it allowed her to live at Country Meadow Village. She was able to get that service as a direct result of his service to the country. And it was actually when she got the first check, first payout, it was actually really very emotional for me that here, 35 years after his death, she was benefiting from the service in the Battle of the Bulge that he provided. So amazing stuff.
So what he's talking about is called a special monthly compensation added on top of the service connected disability. So if your disability causes you to need day-to-day services like dressing, feeding, showering, medications, all that kind of stuff, this extra money comes in, and it could be upwards to like $2,500 extra dollars, and it helps pay for some of these assisted living places that you need that 24-hour care. And those, if you guys haven't looked yet, those are like $7 to $15 grand a month, not a year, a month. So check into that. And if the veteran is receiving the aid and attendance or housebound attendance, and then they pass away, the spouse can then apply for it as well if they're in the same condition. So they just can't do it at the same time.
One of the biggest things I hear is I'm 100% disabled from the military as of August. And one of the biggest things I hear, especially from the older men, is, well, I don't think I need anything. And I'm like, do you get Social Security? And they're like, oh, of course, I'm owed that. It's the same thing. So if you were in the military for 2 years to 20 years or anywhere in between, I always recommend at least touching base with Chris to see what you're qualified for. And now with my 100% disability, not only can I take that money for the rest of my life, but also pass it on to my husband if something ever happened to me, and my kids. So don't consider it a form of charity. It is something that is owed to the member. So if you have any friends that are veterans, please reach out sooner than later, because like Chris always says, is we're losing our Vietnam vets at an really quick rate right now.
Yeah. So when we pass away as a veteran, it's called it's part of the survivor's benefits package, which I said is 22 pages, and probably 12 of it's like, if you fill this out, fill that out. If you fill this out, get this form. If you fill this out, get this form. And so a grieving family member doesn't want to come in and most of the time they're grieving, they're in my office crying, and they're like, I don't know what to do. So I'm there to help with the 22-page packet. For me, it's really simple to fill out because I've been doing it. So with survivors benefits, DIC, which is dependent indemnity compensation. So if we pass away as a veteran from a service connection disability, which we want to make sure is on your death certificate, that would trigger the VA to pay out. Right now is $1,612 a month for the rest of the spouse's life or dependent's life. There's a VA pension that works with Social Security. It's a little bit more detailed there. And then there's accrued benefits. So if somebody, you guys have heard of the VA PACT Act? VA PACT Act is us Gulf War vets, Vietnam vets, our Camp Lejeunes, basically any toxin that you've been exposed to, like Air Force bases all over, they're finding out more and more. If you think you've been exposed to toxins, you should call the VA and do their toxic exposure exam. For me, to be completely honest, I was in the desert And they think around, I was around jet fuels, and I don't know how many baths I took, not on purpose, but in jet fuel. And I guess it triggered something in my body to cause where I can't fight off foreign substances. So if I touch like a Clorox wipe, I might turn completely red. And they said that's from exposure to toxins. So I'm not a scientist like my brother. He's a PhD. I asked him about it and he goes, yeah, that could totally happen. So you never know until you ask the questions. And I'm not afraid to, if you guys come to me and I don't know the answer, I got people to ask. I have no pride issues with asking for help at all. I'm different. I'm not the gatekeeper. The VA is the gatekeeper. So.
I was reading a magazine a couple months ago or so, and it talked about a toxin that was in the ammo boxes and other boxes.
Yeah.
And I remember we used to build shelters out of those boxes and stuff. But I know the Agent Orange is a big deal, but because when I was in the Mekong, we got sprayed all the time or walked through it. But what do you know about this toxin that's in these boxes?
So the little bit that I've learned that there's people that were making meals out of these boxes too. They were cooking their food inside of them, and whatever was in it, they were eating that too, because that's all they had to cook their food. But yeah, I heard about the material that was used to make these boxes had some kind of toxic exposure to our vets. But we would have to look more into that in detail and figure out how we can link that to your service. So what's important is if your service treatment record shows something that say you rolled down a ladder on an aircraft carrier and you broke your arm, and your service treatment record shows that you broke your arm, and today your doctor's saying you have arthritis in your elbow, then that's a link between your service. Sometimes we have to get doctors to fill out letters to help push the VA to tell them it's a 50-50 chance that it happened in the service, which is in the favor of the veteran. But I want to say all this money that comes to our veterans is a way to help our families out. So if you're willing to help your family out, this is a good way to supplement your income through the years and taking care of our economy here and then our friends and families. So I don't want you to feel like this is all a vet thing. This is actually a family thing in my brain. So we could take care of each other.
Chris, do you have any kind of a way for the community or like myself and Dan with public safety for referrals? Because we're developing a program right now with Chris Johnson at Peace Health with mobile integrated healthcare, and you're talking about the silos of all the different things out there. The more we delve into this, there's so many resources out there that none of us know about.
Yeah.
And a lot of times we go to these folks that, like, I tell a story here last spring, we had a gentleman that sat in the doorway of his bungalow having a heart attack, but had we walk in, this place is immaculate. He has no food in the fridge. He has no cell phone. He can't call 911. And here's a guy who's in his late 70s that spent 15 to 20 years in the service. And we all know that there was resources out there to get him probably the food, the medical, the cell phone, but never knew about it until it was too late.
Yeah.
And is there a way, like some way we can get a hold of you and get these people resources that we know they're probably out there to help us as we move forward with this program?
Yeah, so I have multiple ways. The first way I got changed was our Skagit County Veteran Services website under Public Health Department. I got that completely updated. So it has a link to set up an appointment with me, has a link to call Skagit Vets Connect in Burlington. It has, when we have our meetings every month, it's an open, anybody can come to our monthly meeting, second Tuesday, to find out what we're doing. I have pamphlets I brought here, a few, not a lot, and then I brought my business cards as well. And I've made it where it's hopefully as easy as possible. If people get the information, they can get a hold of me. The only problem is I think I have about 150 voicemails on my work cell, and I clear 30 and I get 40 more the next day. The PACT Act has changed things for us veterans and how fast claims get done. But yeah, if I get the message, I'm on it. So, and if I screw up and I didn't get back to you in time, hound me. Like I tell people all the time, I'm not gonna take it personally if you're hounding me for help. So I'll make sure I get it done.
Perfect. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
So what you're doing is absolutely amazing. But like you said at the beginning, you're pretty much a one-man show. Are you looking for help or volunteers, or because, you sounds like you're a very busy man. So, and there's a lot of need. I was just curious about bringing more people on board.
Yeah, so this year I applied for Washington Department of Veteran Affairs Vet Corps Navigator site, which we brought on Eduardo. He's a fresh out of the Army vet. He has learned pretty fast, and he's got about 30 days left of this 10-month program. Basically, the county pays the WDVA $3,000 for 10 months of up to 40 hours a week. I think that's a steal. So we save some money that way, but he's helped learn with getting screenings done, some paperwork done for me, so that way I can concentrate on other things. I was able to get the Washington Department of Veteran Affairs. They said, "Hey, Chris, do you guys want another service officer in Skagit County?" I said, "Yeah." I go, what are you talking about? He goes, "Yeah, Island County balked at us." And so we decided to ask you guys. And I said, "Yeah, I'll have community action make space, whether they like it or not." So now there's a spot for them. They're just waiting to hire that person. So there'll be another service officer. He'll be more regional. He'll be covering the top 4 counties, rural counties. The community actions hired a few. They got a volunteer up front desk. They've hired somebody through workforce, I think it is, to do front desk work. And now I just asked them we're going to start teaching them how to screen people coming in, to streamline some stuff. So that way we could get things done a little bit faster and I can concentrate on other things. But volunteerism, if you want to volunteer, I can get you connected to community action, helping hands. There's that person they hire is going to be helping me with paperwork, with whatever. I'll teach them everything I know. I need to get it all out of my head. There's a lot of information. So yeah.
So we're gonna need like volunteers to take people to their appointments, at least the local ones, not the ones. They go as far as Olympia. So, and then we have veterans that we serve that are unhoused that sometimes not moving or things closed, whatever. So.
And sometimes, like at our post, American Legion 91, we don't have a bar or anything like that. So a lot of our revenue is rentals, bingo, that kind of stuff. But what we do for free is I can rally the troops, and we've been helping veterans move into new housing, move to other housing. If I can get, we're getting younger people joining the American Legion 91. Eduardo's 23 years old. He's our youngest member. Dwayne Stowe's our oldest member, Korea Air veteran. And I just want to say your guys' coffee is way better than our coffee. And I'll be there tomorrow to let Don know that.
I made it. Take some with you. Fill your cups.
It's nice and dark.
It's
Navy
strong.
coffee. It's like me coming off the flight deck for 12 hours, going to the galley and getting a cup of coffee. It's been sitting there sludging. All right. Anything else? All right. Thanks.
Okay, thank you, Chris. That was a great program. You are a busy, busy man. And as a daughter of a veteran, I appreciate the work that you're doing. So thank you. I have a wonderful token of appreciation. It's either a Sedro Woolley Rotary coin or keychain. So coin, perfect. I'll bring that over. All right. So thank you, Mike, for joining us this morning, and Chris and Carrie and Cooper. As always, it's a joy to have you here, son. Can you take that over to him? Go take that to him. Okay. Nachos. Okay. Work party on June 8th. Oh, I'll let you ring it. Hold on. I have a joke so we can end the day, or start the day, not end the day. So on the first morning of a visit, John's grandpa prepared a breakfast of bacon and eggs. John noticed a film-like substance on his plate and asked, "Are these plates clean?" His grandpa replied, "They're as clean as cold water can get them. Just go ahead and finish your meal." So for lunch, Grandpa made hamburgers. Again, John was concerned about the plates, as his appeared to have specks of dried egg on it. "Are you sure these plates are clean?" he asked. Without looking up, Grandpa said, "I told you before, those dishes are as clean as cold water can get them." Later, as John was leaving, his grandpa's dog started to growl and wouldn't let him pass. And John said, "Grandpa, your dog won't let me by." Grandpa yelled to the dog, "Cold water, go lie down."